My purpose in appearing before you today is to assert that in my judgment, Daesh is responsible for genocide against groups in areas under its control, including Yazidis, Christians, and Shia Muslims. Daesh is genocidal by self-proclamation, by ideology, and by actions, in what it says, what it believes, and what it does.
That from a bit earlier today. State Department saying ISIS is committing genocide, and those crimes are being committed against Christians and other minorities, as we just heard from Secretary of State Kerry, in Iraq and in Syria. Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst. This was the deadline this week, and now we have the verdict on behalf of the government. Your belief now is what?
Well, my belief is that the government still doesn't have much sympathy with the destruction of 2,000 years of Christian civilization in the Middle East. You got to really parse the statement. Now, the administration was shamed into this. They were forced into accepting this obvious genocide as genocide. But, Bill, look at what Kerry said. Listen to what he said. He said, not just Christians, also Yazidis. That's true. That's valid. Then he includes the hundreds of millions of Shia Muslims. Shia and Sunni Muslims in the Middle East are in a great Islamic civil war. But by diluting it, by diluting the genocide, that means there's less pressure on them to take in Christian refugees. The other problem, and the really biggest one and ugliest one, is he limited it to ISIS, to Daesh. And it's not just them. It's not just ISIS. This destruction that's been accelerating for years of Christian civilization in the Middle East, it's also Al-Qaeda, it's Jabhat al-Nusra, it's Hamas, it's Hezbollah, it's even to an extent the Muslim Brotherhood. And so he made, Kerry and the administration made the smallest, tiniest statement they could make on genocide. Basically, yeah, it's genocide, but look at this, this, and this, and we're really not going to do anything.
Okay, but I'm saying that the finding does not obligate the United States to take any action or any additional action against ISIS militants. So what's this about? What's it worth, Colonel?
Well, symbolically, it's very important, and it does have legal implications. Under international law, it certainly does. The perpetrators of genocide, that's a significant charge. But also, and this is another reason Kerry included the Shia Muslims, it would allow us to give priority to genuine refugees, to Christian refugees from Syria, for instance. But by spreading it out so broadly, including Shia Muslims, it basically takes that away, you know, they're all refugees, etc. So, I mean, I'm glad he said it. I'm glad we're finally calling it genocide. But this isn't the 100% solution. This is the 5% solution.
So you're seeing this only as it applies to refugees who might want to seek asylum. That's how you see this, right?
Well, that's where I really see the pragmatic aspect of it, that it recognizes that the Christians fleeing the Middle East are victims of genocide. That differentiates them from all the young thug migrants flooding into Europe for various personal or professional reasons, etc. So, again, I'm glad he did it, but I feel like this administration still romanticizes Islam. It still finds Christians somehow distasteful. It's almost as if the administration feels Christians have no real right to be in the Middle East. And Christians were there a long time before Muslims were, 6 centuries.
You wrote a piece this week, quoting now, in the wake of the Holocaust, well-meaning Westerners declared never again. But the real issue is, who's next?
Yeah, 101 years, Bill. Armenians, world did nothing. The Holocaust, world did nothing until it was too late. Rwanda did nothing until it was too late. Even in the Balkans, it took Srebrenica to get people moving. And so, when it comes to obvious genocide in front of our faces, democracies, sad to say, tend to respond very tardily. But when we have a genocide that's so plain, that's so tragic, so destructive of the heritage of all humankind, as this wanton destruction of Christian civilization in the Christian heartland of the Middle East, I just believe it's time for action. I think this is something worth fighting for, but obviously the administration doesn't.
All tragic. Thank you, Colonel. Ralph Peters there in Washington.
Thank you.